Hello there everyone. Today is a very special video. It's Earth Day 2025 and here is the event that everyone must see. If you didn't get a chance to see it, here's the replay right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special Earth Day edition of our Purium Opportunity Zoom. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Amy Venner, and I'm one of the owners and founders here at Purium. And I'm really excited to have my friend, my business partner. We've been doing this together for over 30 years here with us on the line today as well. Welcome, Dave Sandoval. Hi, Dave. How are you doing today on this very special Earth Day edition of our Purium Opportunity Zoom?
Amazing, amazing. 30 years, just think about it. Remember that day in kindergarten when we had this idea? Um, but seriously, yeah, I'm feeling really, really good. I'm really excited just, about as you said, just the meaning, the cross meanings that we have with, renewal right after Easter, with this incredible opportunity to renew the earth, for Earth Day, and with our ability to just renew our own individual health, our own individual, sense of security in today's world where security is sometimes, it seems to be further and further away sometimes. And so we want to let you know that that's not the way it is in the Purium economy. That's not the way it is in the Purium community. That's not the way it is in the Purium lifestyle. Because we have that promise, if you haven't heard, that are going to be better physically, better financially, be better mentally, emotionally. You're going to look, feel, and perform better. We make a lot of promises and we keep those promises. And that's called integrity. And so if you've been looking for a company with integrity, if you've been wanting to hook your wagon to integrity, to quality, to results, then thank you so much for trusting us with that hope, with that dream, because that is exactly what you're going to get with Purium.
Well, I love that, Dave. And, I want to say a huge welcome to all of our guests that are on the line, the invited guests here that are learning about Purium for the very first time. I also want to say a huge welcome and congratulations to our new brand partners who have recently joined into this incredible Purium brand partner community. So, and of course, our legacy leaders and brand partners that are on the line. It's so nice to see everyone as we're climbing to 200 participants here this evening. So the slide that we have up here, Dave, it's a quote from you. It says, "Many years ago, I set out to create a company that would transform both people and the planet." Now, before you kind of ruminate or explain where that quote was coming from, I would like you to go back to 30 plus years ago when you were dreaming about this company, when you were putting things in motion, and tell all of our listeners why. What was the driving force behind your desire to get these kind of foods out into people's hands and to get them accessible?
Yeah, well, there's a few points along the way, but let me just go to one that I hope you don't mind me sharing. I was working for a Japanese pharmaceutical company. They were using a lot of money and a lot of science and technology to try to take traditional Chinese medicine and to transform it into pharmaceutical grade food supplements, which was a very noble cause. And along the way, they actually created green juice powders that you'd mix in water from powder. And it was amazing. It was like instant coffee, but it was healthy. And I was like, oh my God. And so I put my all of my skills behind, and we grew that company from 750 thousand to over 21 million in just a few short years. With me as the sort of the sales manager, director, promoter, whatever you want to call me. And the whole time, I kept noticing that it wasn't helping people with diabetes. And I'm like, this is really weird. You have a green food, alkalizing this and that, and it's not helping people with diabetes. So I wrote to the Japanese Pharmaceutical Development Company, to the owner and the leaders, and I asked them what's going on here, and they said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." I said, "I need to see assays. I want to see exactly what is in this, Like, you've never revealed that to me, but I've earned your trust. Show me the lab reports. Show me all the C of A's, because back then you didn't have to do that by law. Now you do." And so they wouldn't. And so I took my own money. I took the product, I sent it out to labs, and what came back was a product that was 40% maltodextrin. And maltodextrin is basically sugar. And so when I challenged this 93rd richest man in the world at the time, he basically called me a used car salesman and fired me. Well, the way that fate works is, over the next year, I actually was exposed to the technology to make 100% pure, low temperature dehydrated vegetable powders. And I was exposed to other opportunities that allowed me to open my own company, to start selling my own dried green juice powders that were 100% pure, that were organic, that were, you know, of that quality. And so that was part of the genesis, is that I was so disgusted by, and so many of the things that Amy and I have been motivated by, other things like, deaths of people I love and other things. Well, you'll learn more about that over our relationship. But this was one of those things, one of those turning points where I was just so angry at having been lied to, so angry at having been deceived, so angry at been recommending products to people that I thought I could trust 100%, and then deciding I needed to create a company that you could trust 100%, that you would not have to worry about whether somebody was pulling something over your eyes.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing a little bit of that backstory. And yes, there's so many stories that we want to share, and we just don't have time to share them all in one Zoom. But that's what makes it so awesome that we have these Zooms every week, multiple times a week. There's Zooms, and Dave and I drop in, we host, and we love to share our background stories. Well, one thing that I really want to hone in today with this special Earth Day edition is the most efficient delivery of plant-based nutrients in history is what we have here at Purium. We know that regeneratively grown vegetables are more nutrient dense than conventional. We know that over the past 50 to 60 years, there's been a consistent decline in key nutrients in our food and the fruits and vegetables that are growing out there in the fields. We know that producing a pound of vegetables requires about 1,100 BTUs, and producing a pound of steak requires about 100,000 BTUs. Purium's dehydrated superfoods do not require refrigeration from the farm to your doorstep. And so think about this. Make the comparison of this. A single supermarket's refrigeration system's emission is equivalent to 300 cars. So look what we're doing. If we can provide high quality, dehydrated, regeneratively grown, organic superfood nutrition right to your doorstep, look what we are doing for the environment. And Dave, I'm just so grateful. And someone wrote in the comments, the best day ever was the day you got fired, because it drove you to find this dehydration process, to the spark to start this company. And we are all so grateful that you did just that. Now, our commitment to this sustainability is really woven into every aspect of our business, from the soil that the products are grown in, absolutely all the way to your doorstep. So that was a lot of words, Dave. I want to pass it back to you to reflect on some of those things that I just covered.
Awesome. Does everybody mind if I talk a little bit fast? So if you don't mind, follow along. So in scenario A, we're growing broccoli in a field of 5 acres, and we need about 20 refrigerated trucks to transport those 5 acres of broccoli to a center where they're trimmed and distributed out to grocery stores on another, several dozen trucks. And then when they do that, they have to get rid of some of the broccoli that might not be looking perfect enough for sale, may not be pretty enough, might have, might be a little old, might be a little young. So I have to get rid of that. And then they, they try to sell it. What they don't sell, they throw away. And during that time, it's refrigerated the whole time. And the people who drive their cars to the stores to get that broccoli. And when you add up that entire carbon footprint of getting that broccoli into your belly, and it's then been cooked, which creates more energy usage and more nutrient deficiencies, reductions. And so at Purium, we dehydrate the food at, room temperature, right very close to the field, into a powder, which then weighs far less than it did when all the fiber and moisture was in it. So instead of 20 trucks, we use one. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. It goes to our warehouse where we send it out directly to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 homes. And so this uses 2 to 3% of the energy to get that food to you, which is twice or three times more nutritious. And so this is just a powerful, powerful like use of leverage. And I thank you for letting me go into that.
I love that. I love how you explain the leverage of how consuming these dehydrated foods that we have here, these dehydrated superfoods, really create leverage for a positive environmental impact. You know, sometimes it's hard to brag about ourselves, but we really are a brand to brag about. Purium is a brand to brag about. If you're a legacy brand partner, if you're a leader here at Purium and you agree with that statement, please let us know in the chat. And for those of you that are listening and tuning in and learning about us for the very first time, I hope you will agree as well. You know, this is a story that's actually very personal to me, is that Purium and Dave, we are part of a solution to solving the glyphosate crisis. Now, many people out there are unfamiliar with what glyphosate even is. So please drop a 3 in the chat if you are unfamiliar with glyphosate. I know we have a lot of new people listening. I have to tell you, I was unfamiliar with glyphosate if you, until I really started getting into it. And then I was like, wow, glyphosate is what wreaked havoc on my health as a young person. Glyphosate is what I really feel stole the life of my uncle, who was a farmer in Texas and used this chemical on a regular basis. He died in his early 60s and he was in very bad shape. We'll tell that story another time. And I know it was because the glyphosate that he applied on his cotton. I had um, all types of gut issues. I had very severe acne, and those issues that I had not only were affecting me physically when I was a teenager and a young adult, they began to trickle over and spill over and affect me on an emotional level as well. And so, a teenager should have, their life is all just exciting and looking forward. Well, that is not what was happening to me at that time. And just as Dave said, he got fired. That was a fortuitous day that changed his life forever, the course of his life forever. I happened to be at a trade show. I happened to meet Dave over 30 years ago. He happened to Carefront me. He happened to say, "Hey, I noticed that you're having some problems with your skin. And you know what? I think I have a solution." Dave didn't know at the time. I didn't know at the time that it was glyphosate driven, that I'd been exposed to this chemical, but he cared enough. He was so passionate about what he did and the product that he had created, which is a product that we have in our line today called Organic Kamut Blend, that he told me about it. He offered it to me, and I began to consume this superfood. And it began to help in so many ways. Not only physically did the acne begin to clear, but mentally, my mind began to clear. And now we know this gut brain connection. That is what was happening. We didn't know that at the time in 1994, 1995. We also didn't know the pervasiveness of glyphosate at that point in time. So if you are just learning about glyphosate, or if you're on the glyphosate activism like commission and committee here with Purium, I'm going to tell you some statistics that 95% of Americans carry this chemical in their bodies. 75% of our food is contaminated. If you drink beer and wine, up to 90% of that beer and wine is testing glyphosate positive. This chemical is pervasive. This chemical is everywhere. We cannot get away from it, but we do have a solution. Dave worked so hard on this formula. We actually did a small scale clinical trial where we proved that our formula Biomedic, and this is exclusive to Purium, can reduce 74% of glyphosate in just 6 short weeks. At the very same time, there was a corollary. There was something else that was happening that was showing up in this small scale study, that C reactive protein was reducing by approximately the same amount at 75%, as well as intestinal integrity. That gut lining was sealing up 35% in those 6 short weeks. This product is amazing. This product is exclusive to Purium. We have a pervasive problem out there with glyphosate, one that I've personally experienced, and we have an incredible solution. And so, if you're one that cares about people, if you're one that knows people are suffering and want to do something about it, getting involved with Purium and getting Biomedic into the hands of people that need it is quite amazing. And I am so proud to represent this product. Dave actually wrote a book. When you purchase Biomedic, when you purchase a lifestyle subscription here at Purium, or a ULT, an Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, we are going to give you a free ebook, a digital copy of The Toxin That Came to Dinner. So if you were like me years ago and didn't understand what glyphosate is doing to our health and our bodies, read this book. It's easy to understand. And if you're not passionate about this now, you will be after consuming this content. And thank you, Dave, for putting the time and effort into this solution and putting the time and effort in to write this incredible booklet. It's easy to read, that really explains the problem.
Wow. Well, first of all, could I thank the 254 people, 256 people growing as I'm sitting here, for, for either answering the call to join us tonight or for putting out the call for people to join us tonight. This is a really, this is apolitical. I don't care. Again, it's apolitical. It is a religious. This is everybody who is alive and everybody who has children, everybody who has parents. You are being affected by glyphosate in ways that leads to depression. It leads to obesity. It leads to a number of vulnerabilities to diseases that I've outlined in that book. But let's get to the beauty of this. We saw a problem and we rose to meet it. glyphosate is a huge problem. And again, when you are focused on solutions, then solutions find you. You don't go and find them, they find you. And so, thank you for being part of a solution based company. Thank you, Amy, for believing in me when we went for this and investing the money for a clinical trial that little companies like ours rarely could afford to do. But, but we did. And the proof is in the pudding. So
So
thanks
let's
again. And inflammation, I just want to let you know that C reactive protein is a critical factor in every known disease, with very few exceptions. So it is that much of a panacea. If you reduce inflammation, you help your body in every known way. And this reduces C reactive protein 75%. You could spend $10,000 on chelation therapy and not reduce C reactive protein by 75%. And that's the second best way to do it.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to talk about this next slide is talking about something else that typically small companies that are our size, that are privately held, that are owner funded, don't do. And that is taking on something that to get rid of plastic from our line of packaging. And so this has been a journey that we've been on for several years now. It's been, there's been ups, there's been downs, but it is so rewarding to know that we don't just nourish bodies, we nurture the planet. And Purium's plastic-free packaging is our pledge to a greener future. Yes, there's cost associated with this that we undertook because it was so important to us. And look what we have done as a community. We have saved the equivalent of 6 million plastic water bottles from going into the environment, going into landfills. Another equivalency is we've saved 27 million of those plastic grocery bags from getting out there into the environment. The equivalent in plastic that we have saved by switching to our incredible Terra pouches. And I know, Dave, you are very passionate about freeing the world from plastic. How proud are you of this Purium community and this opportunity that we have to be business leaders, that we have to be thought leaders? And that's the beautiful thing about Purium. Because we are privately owned, Dave and I own well over 90% of the company. We have a few very small other shareholders in the business, but because we own over 90%, we're able to make the decisions. And it's our integrity, not the profit demanded by some venture capitalist, that drives our decision making. It is our passion, it's our hearts, and it's our integrity that drives us every day. And I am so proud of that. And if you're learning about Purium for the very first time, I think that's something very important to take note of, as well as that we are the manufacturer again. So quality and integrity can be built in and assured in every product that we produce. Dave, tell us about your thoughts about this plastic-free packaging.
So this was, have you ever had a oh my God moment? So I'm sitting here and Amy and I are talking and and she's like, yeah, we're now shipping over 30,000 packages a month, and there's like an average of 3.6 bottles, and every one of those. I go, so we're sending out 100,000 bottles of superfoods a month, and she's like, yeah, and I said, that's a lot of plastic. And I mean, just think about it. That's a lot of plastic to make people healthy. And suddenly we knew that once you know it, see, a lot of people, they like to look the other way. They call it burying your head in the sand, you know, because it's really inconvenient. It's really inconvenient. Oftentimes oftentimes very expensive, and and it's not always popular either. And so I'm so proud to have a business partner and have a partnership, like Amy and with you, because together we're able to have what's called conscious commerce. That means that we don't just care about what we do for ourselves, whether we make a paycheck, whether we get healthier. We care about whether the earth is enriched and whether the earth gets healthier as well. And not from some fanatical standpoint where we're out climbing trees and, and chaining ourselves to them so they can't, but it's the same feeling of passion for the planet that's actually far more productive, far more realistic, and we actually do it. We don't talk about it. We don't beat drums. We actually, every single day, through the way that we conduct ourselves, are making the planet a better place. So, again, thank you for helping us to do that, because this planet is not ours for very long. We're renting it. And we're then giving it to our children, who will give it to their children, which will be our grandchildren. And I think that it's not about, like I said, it's not about politics. It's not about religion. It's not about any type of commerce or that. It's about our responsibility to the future, to our children, and the fact that we're stepping into that responsibility. You know, those people that take the cart back at the grocery store and they walk the cart all the way back across the parking lot and put it in. Every time I see one of them do that, I stop and I say, "Thank you very much. You know, that's a sign of integrity." And they're always like, "Wow, thank you for acknowledging that." So I want to thank all of you, for the way that you're taking that cart back to the right spot, figuratively and literally, for our planet.
I love that. That is a great analogy, Dave. And yes, my parents taught me you always return the cart. So I love that. So we have a new webpage that is being pushed out live kind of as we speak. I just checked my phone. I don't see it yet, but it's supposed to be coming up sometime between the 4 o'clock and the 5 o'clock Pacific hour. And it's our environmental promise page. And it's at ishopperium.com/environmental promise. And it just talks about some of the things that we hold near and dear, giving you a little bit more background information on Earth Day and every day about the environmental practices that we have adopted and we believe wholeheartedly in here at Purium. So please check that out when the call is over. There's an awesome video on there. I believe it's the carbon food print, which is you'll get a little bit more information about what Dave was sharing earlier about the most efficient delivery system on the planet. So check out this page when this Zoom is over at ishopperium.com/environmental promise.
I wanted to call the video "You Don't Poop Where You Eat," but they wouldn't let me. So we stuck with this one.
Okay. Dave also has a sense of humor. Those learning about Purium for the first time will learn that as well. Purium is in the business of making lives better. I am a person that I just always wanted to help people. And so that vision, mission, passion, and purpose is being fulfilled every single day. And we make lives better. We help people physically, financially, and emotionally with these incredible superfoods that we produce, financially with this incredible income opportunity and business model, and emotionally by welcoming people into an incredibly supportive community. So drop it in the chat if you've been here at Purium for a short while, a little bit, just joined yesterday, or maybe been here for 10 or 20 years. Drop a little note into the chat. Has your life gotten better physically, financially, or emotionally?
And let me dive into the emotional part, Amy.
Yes.
So, Biomedic is clinically proven to help repair your gut microbiome, which is where a serotonin is produced. And serotonin is one of the two key hormones that attribute to your happiness. Secondly, When you're getting more sleep, better sleep, which you will be doing with Purium, you're going to be feeling better physically, mentally, and emotionally. When you have more hope for the future financially, obviously that is going to help you to feel better, because hope is part of feeling better, if not, really, really big, important part. And then, of course, when you have community, when you have the supportive community, when you have people who want you to succeed, you have people who want you to thrive. And then, of course, oh, that's right, we're getting healthier. Yeah, we're looking, feeling, and performing better. So there's so many ways that we are improving ourselves in a mental capacity and an emotional capacity. And it's as important as the physical and the financial capacities. It really is.
I love that, Dave, and I agree 100%. I've experienced that 100%. The opportunities, for myself, and we see it all the time here in our brand partner community of leaning into leadership, doing things that we never thought possible, believing in ourselves, getting on Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives and holding that microphone and speaking in public, things that we never thought we would be doing. We see it all the time here at Purium. So this really is an opportunity for personal growth as well as personal, emotional, physical, financial. We say all the time, we have this saying, you'll find it on our website. We talk about it a lot. The quality of food you eat is equal to the quality of life that you live. Now, when you're putting these Purium superfoods into your body, like Dave was just explaining, your body takes over. When your body has the fuel that it needs, what God and Mother Nature intended it to have, nutrients from the soil, and a wide variety of things, your body knows what to do with that. And it's really quite incredible the change that happens, the up leveling and well-being that happens all around when we consume this quality of food
And
on
water.
a regular basis. And water. We're going to add water to this with our new product, Aqua Vibrance. So the key to success, the ultimate lifestyle transformation, also known as the 90-day way, is the recommended path if you are new to this lifestyle to get on. And Dave, tell us why 90 days. Tell us briefly why this ultimate lifestyle transformation is so incredibly powerful. Now, while Dave is talking about it, if you've had a powerful experience on the 90-day way, the lifestyle transformation, drop that in the chat. But Dave, take it away. Why is the 90-day way so powerful?
Thank you, Amy. And one of the coolest things that you're going to realize is that this isn't like you're going to muscle through and somehow get through. We are helping you physiologically and mentally in order to accomplish this. So let me give you one example. When you're having our tart cherry at night, we call apothecary. When you're having our greens during the day, what we call the power shake, they are containing things that are known as bitters scientifically. They actually have a bitter taste to them, and bitters are known to stop cravings. I mean, magically stop cravings for sugar, for carbohydrates, for alcohol. It's really amazing. And so, this is one way, but another way is that you are going to increase what's called a hormone called adiponectin. Adiponectin, again, clinically proven, is the fat that helps you burn fat. It is a hormone that is raised up, that increases when you drink the power shake. And that tells your body, that brown fat, that adipose tissue, the adiponectin is a hormone that burns that adipose fat. And that adipose fat is typically packed around your organs because it's often there because emotional responses to stress. And the fat that is, your body says, oh, what's all this stress? I might be close to starvation because stress historically for 10,000 years meant you're probably stressing out over food. So if you're stressing out, you better gather as many calories defensively as you can and pack them around those organs in case you get into a battle. I'm serious. And so when you increase the hormone adiponectin, it burns those stress hormone fat. And that's the fat that's, typically tucked around your belly. So I could go on and on and on and give you 100 physical, physiological, and metabolic reasons why we help you to do what we're doing. But of course, another one is we're increasing oxygen, we're increasing alkalinity, we're increasing digestion. And so there are, literally 100 reasons physiologically and metabolically why doing a 90-day way. But the one I'm going to end with is that it has been proven that when you do anything for 90 days, that you could leave behind a habit. But again, 70 days, it's 50% as effective. 90 days is a magic number when you do not do something for 90 days. And when you do something for 90 days, it gets imprinted into your habit. Okay. That habit type of psychological imprint that you then will continue doing that thing like normally, or stop and continue not doing that thing normally. And so, again, I know that was pretty long winded, but whether it's all the little things that help you get through the 90 days, or if it's the magic that happens once the 90 days is over, like, this is a phenomenal program.
Is a phenomenal program, and it's the way that we recommend. It's the way that most people start into Purium is with a lifestyle subscription, getting on the 90-day way. And it's not just about 90 days. This is about a lifetime of saturating your body with the nutrients it needs to not just to survive, but to thrive. I was reading the comments that were coming in of people that have done a lifestyle subscription, done the 90-day way, and the successes that they are having, some for years and years and years, 10, 11 years in one of the chats. So take a moment, scroll through those, some really great stories. People are not only suffering physically, they're suffering financially and emotionally. And remember, we said earlier, we have solutions to physical, financial, and emotional issues here at Purium. Now, we want to welcome you to the Purium economy because, when you are stressed about finances, that can very well lead to being stressed emotionally and being stressed physically, with physical ailments developing because of that stress. It is what I call a downward cycle, where when you get on the superfoods, at least what happened to me and what happened to so many people here in the Purium community, is you find yourself with upward momentum and upward health and well-being spiral. Now let's talk about, how do we get into an upward spiral with our finances? Well, that happens through our incredible business model and the Purium economy. Dave, you want to tell a little bit more about that?
Yeah, actually, it's amazing because my entire life I've seen the power of teaming up with somebody who needs my talents, whether it be a sporting team, whether it be a company. When someone needs you and you need them, the birth of a successful partnership is possible. And so we have this business method. Now, I want to give you one example that we have people who have joined our company with the intention of just getting healthier and maybe earning a few extra bucks, but they were making all the money they needed in their career. In fact, they were making 2, 3, 4 times the average, U.S. income, and multiple six figures. And so looking at Purium as a business income opportunity really wasn't what they were looking at. But once they used the products, and once they, just naturally started sharing them, one day they looked at their Purium check and they said, we made as much money this month in Purium as we actually do from one of our investments. We should look more into this. Well, today they're a top earner at Purium. They've given up their other businesses entirely, and they're living the Purium economy. One other story that I love is a woman, single mother, living in her car with her children, food stamps, and someone asks her to join Purium. Now, at that time, there actually was a starter pack that cost money that that was an investment you needed to come up with to make just to join the company. And somehow she scraped together that money, borrowed, begged, stole. I'm joking about the stole part, but you know what I mean. That's and she became like financially secure, and and freed herself from that position in her life within a few short months. And I've seen incredible stories of transformation physically. I mean, more than I could even start to count. But equally as inspiring are the lives that have been turned around by people who have trusted. And by trust, when you're in a relationship, they say a relationship is actually surrender. You know, a relationship is surrender. You surrender and you trust and you go for it. And if you're holding back, if you're thinking, well, I'll just give a little and wait to see what I get first, those relationships, those partnerships, most of the time don't work. So Amy and I are all in, and I'm going to let her talk more about that. We're inviting you to have a relationship, a partnership with us where we basically are in business together as partners, each of us looking out for each other, and your success will be our success, and our opportunity and infrastructure will give you the opportunity to build your success. And we have enough examples of people who have done it, and there's hopefully going to be many, many more from the group that's on the call tonight.
Absolutely. And we are looking for brand partners to grow this community at all levels of impact. Whether you are looking to get your products paid for, make 200, 400, 1,000, maybe $4,000 a month, there is a plan for you in this business model. And the person who invited you onto this call is the best person to get back to explain the path to get you to your goal. And so we are very excited about that. And the world needs Purium now more than ever. Would you not agree? The quality of our food has suffered. There's so many people that are struggling to pay their bills. This business opportunity is welcomed. And so many people are lonely. Loneliness is a pandemic. Loneliness is an epidemic, and we have the best community here at Purium. And so the world needs us. And which means that we need you now more than ever before to get out and to help us share this message, to share this mission, this vision, this value, this purpose that Dave and I have been on for over 30 years. We're just two people. It started out with Dave, one guy with a big dream. I met Dave, and then I was like, wow, this is a pretty amazing dream. It profoundly changed my life. And instead of being in that downward spiral that I talked about, I was rising. I was rising in ways that I didn't even understand. And all I know is it felt really good. And if that has happened to you by being on the superfoods, if that is something that you would like to happen to you because you're just hearing about Purium for the very first time, you got to get back to that person who invited you on to this call. If you want to be a person that can offer that opportunity to offer someone to get in that upward spiral, to feel how good it can feel to be alive and to be contributing and to be a part of something greater than just ourselves, we need you as a brand partner. We need you sharing. I want to talk a little bit about time freedom. I want to talk a little bit about location freedom and what does it mean to be sovereign? Well, I just said I want to talk about it, but you know what? Dave does an incredible job talking about it. So, Dave, I want to invite you to talk about time freedom, location freedom, and what does it mean to be sovereign?
Thank you, Amy. And wow, is she not just so passionate and eloquent? Such a blessing to have her leading our company. And like I said, every company is like a ship, and if you don't have never been on a ship, a small one at least, not one that's run by some huge computer system, but it takes a captain who actually stands on the deck with their hands on a wheel, looks out physically for things. Of course, they have watchmen and stuff, but they look out physically and they keep that course. They keep that course steady, and they make it through all the things. They make it through the storms. They make it through the blazing hot days and the freezing cold. The icebergs and all that. You know that story. So I'm just so proud that our captain, that we have Amy as our captain. And I'm really great at formulating. I'm really good at educating. I'm really good at inspiration. I'm really good at the working hard and perspiration. But Amy's the captain of the ship, and I want you all just to really, just to acknowledge that we're so blessed to have her. And I don't mean that you have to acknowledge it. I want you to just recognize from me that we are. And the subject I was about to talk about is what I call the paycheck matrix, and it looks something like this, because I saw my dad wake up to an alarm at 6 o'clock a.m. and then grab a sack lunch and be out the door by 6:30. He drove, half an hour to work to start work at 7. And then because he was union, and that's, I guess, a good thing, he was there for 9 hours because they had breaks and a lunch. Okay, so he, worked from 7, all the way, I think, whatever that was, to 4. And then, you know, uh, he would usually roll home, get home about 4:30 and be exhausted. I mean, really, truly exhausted, physically from what his job took out of him. And not to mention maybe the few beers he had before he got home. I'm just going to be honest with you. And so that paycheck matrix, it took his life. He died at a younger age than I am now. And it's hard to realize, just what that drains from us, what it takes from us when we're giving most of our life, most of our energy, most of our time, the best years of our life, literally, the best hours of our life, literally, to someone else's dream. And we exchange those hours for a wage that they dictate our value. And if we want a raise, we hope and pray. If we want a promotion, we pray even more. If we want a vacation, we put in for it as early as we can, hoping that they'll grant it. And that's the paycheck matrix. And if you could relate to that, if you saw somebody in your family caught up in that, if you're caught up in that, if you're tired of that, if you want something better, would you let Amy know? Put something, whatever you want in those comments. Just let us know. Now, at Purium, we offer something really cool. First of all, if you are ready to go for it, we have something called Fast Start where you can earn thousands of dollars pretty quickly. And I'm not here to discuss that in intricacy. But if you want to simply start by being able to pay for your own products and figure out who we are and what we're all about and earn trust together, we are so ready for that too. And everything in between. 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. We're here to give you the opportunity to rise as you want. And so when you do rise, you're going to find out that you no longer have to live close to the place that your boss put his company. You can now live wherever you want. A lot of people build their Purium businesses from other countries, not just other states. And they work the hours they want because they call it lightning in a bottle. You get excited, you're ready to share, you set up your phone calls, and you let her rip. You don't work the hours that someone else tells you. You work when you're ready, when you're excited, when your people are ready, when they're excited. And that makes it all the difference in the world. And you find you're working fewer hours, you're working from where you want, you're not wasting money on lunches at restaurants you don't want to eat at. and paying for gas and spending time on a freeway fighting traffic. The Purium lifestyle is cool, man. Location freedom, live where you want to live, time freedom, work when you want to work, choose the people you want to work with. And we've all worked with people we didn't want to before, haven't we? Not everybody's is as lucky as me. And so the bottom line is the paycheck matrix is real. You know it, it's undeniable. And just look at the opportunity and look at the sort of contrast between what we offer. And then they say that, what? That, how could, and then people try to put this down. You know why? Because they're jealous, because they wish they had it. So let me tell you, this has been and will be and continue to be like the future. And we want you to be part of it.
Absolutely. And this when success is tied to improving other people's lives, it feels really good. It feels really good. It's not even work. This is a labor of love for me. And so many of our brand partners feel the exact same way. Being able to participate in someone else's success is just as rewarding as those paychecks coming in. So we love that. Now, physical testimonials. I'm going to cut this section short because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. You can go to our website at ishoppurium.com. You can click on the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation or the Lifestyle Subscription page and read lots of testimonials from weight loss to mental clarity, releasing of inflammation, skin, radiant skin. It really runs the gamut. If you've been following along in the chat here, many people have put in their own personal testimonials, from sleeping better to saving money on groceries to, losing, I think I read 28 pounds on the 90-day way. So we're going to skip the physical testimonials for right now and really talk about Purium as hope for a better future for ourselves, for our family, and for our extended community. I love this word hope. I love the word hope so much. That's my youngest daughter's middle name. You have to have hope. And I really truly believe that Purium brings hope to the world. And in order to do that, we need a bigger community. We need more brand partners sharing that hope for themselves, that hope for their families, and hope for their communities. Now, why is Purium needed? We're going to go through this pretty quickly. 95% of people do not need a doctor, do not need a drug, or do not need treatment. They need the Purium lifestyle. They need what God and Mother Nature intended for us to eat, not all of this junk, these fast foods, these chemically laden foods, or these things that are out there masqueraded as foods that are just chemicals produced in a lab that are making us sick. They need the Purium lifestyle. As we talked about a few minutes ago, 80% of people are not able to pay their bills and are worried about their debt. They need the Purium economy. And so we need people. We need an army of brand partners going out there, meeting these 95% of people and giving them the options, the solutions we have here at Purium. We need an army of brand partners meeting these 80% of people that are worried about their debt and how to pay their bills. If you're a person that wants to help people, Purium is the place to be. And there is a plethora of people that need our help. We need you, and the world needs us. Together, we can rise economically as we improve people's lives physically, mentally, and emotionally. Join us as we build this army of caring individuals who will rise together in this new economy. Experience the time freedom, the location freedom, and the economic freedom that you deserve. So we are looking to build this big. We are 20 plus years strong as a network marketing organization. We are deeply committed to that business model, and we are deeply committed to changing lives. Dave, what what do these slides mean to you? What is it saying to you as we get close to wrapping up our opportunity Zoom here today?
It tells me that we have, like you said, if you want, like we said at the beginning, if you want to team up with something that you could be proud of, something that will change your life and let you help you to change others' lives, then we're a really good opportunity to say yes to. The timing is right. I think more than ever, you can't be fired from this job. And I just want to tell you, and this is brand new, fresh off of the press, I believe today, is that we got together with our top advisors and leaders and we actually made our compensation plan. Now, listen to me, even richer if you are just joining the company today than it has ever been before. So, if you're just starting out, your opportunity is greater, your earning opportunity is greater, your building opportunity is greater than it's ever been. And I'm super proud of that.
I love that. So, yes, if you are ready to take control of your health and financial future, get back to that person who invited you on to this Zoom. They have information for you. They also are able to help you get a free Aqua Vibrance, our brand new product. We just launched this about 2 months ago. I believe it's a retail value of $45 for every new brand partner who joins us in the month of April. So get back to that person who invited you on to this Zoom. Talk about how Purium can be the solution in your life. If you are looking to make $200, $400,000, $4,000, $10,000 a month, there is a way to do that. And that person who invited you, the leader here at Purium, can help you set your goals and make a plan to get there. Well, that brings us to the end of our presentation here today. Again, we are looking to build this wide and build this strong. We have changed countless numbers of lives. And we're not stopping. We're just getting started. It's 30 years in for me. It's well over 30 years in for Dave with the same mission, vision, and purpose. So, if what we talked about tonight has ignited you, has ignited a spark in you, or maybe it's already burning as a strong flame, join us. If you're already here and part of Purium, reignite your business, jump into action, bringing in new brand partners to ignite their flame and to bring those solutions to health, to wealth, and to emotions. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you so much, Dave, for all your passion, your creativity, and all the energy that you give to this brand partner community. It could not be leading this ship or captaining this ship without you. So again, thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for partnering with us and giving us an hour of your time tonight.
And we didn't even mention that Amy and I are going to be hosting the Diamond Club this weekend, giving personal tours of our manufacturing plant, hosting private dinners and lunches, and some really fun outings as well. So get to be a diamond this company. Come and see me. We'll have a great time.
Amazing, amazing. And if you are in the LA area, we are having an open to the public superfood social in Long Beach. Again, the person who invited you onto this Zoom can get you a flyer. We would love to see you at the Long Beach Airport Marriott on Sunday, this Sunday afternoon. Again, it's open to the public. The Diamond Club is an invitation only event for our diamond leaders, but we would love to see everyone at the Long Beach Airport Marriott at noon this Sunday. day. Thank you so much for being with us and taking an hour out of your precious time. We hope you found value in tonight's presentation. We hope if you're learning about Purium for the very first time, you will join us. And I can't wait to see everyone soon. Be healthy, be safe. Bye for now.